So what was your question?
How did you start in comedy? And sorry, we don't have to keep pretending it's my podcast unless you want to.
I do kind of like it.
Okay. Well then, yeah. How did you start in comedy?
Well, if you don't mind, it's your podcast, but would you tell me how you started in comedy?
Stand-up?
First, just because I just answered a question, maybe we could switch off for the beginning.
Stand-up comedy?
Yeah.
I started last year.
How are your arms?
I started doing I used to do TikToks where I would talk about being in Project X and 21 Jump Street because those were the movies I was in.
I just rewatched 21 Jump Street and I didn't remember that because I saw it before I knew you.
How are your arms? So did you like it?
Yeah,
Cool.
I intentionally chose it to show my dad had seen it, my mom hadn't.
Oh, okay.
And I intentionally showed them because like this is a great movie I haven't seen in a while.
Cool.
I'm like, oh, there's Dax Flame.
Cool. Nice. Did she like it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I used to just talk about that a lot on TikTok, and like
How so?
the only time that videos would do well for me on TikTok was if I would be like, hey, I'm Dax Flame from Project X and 21 Jump Street, or like when I was in 21 Jump Street, this happened.
Now, did you always talk about it, or could you do a video that's unrelated to that, but you would say it kind of like that was your intro?
Both.
Geez, your arms must have been exhausted. You just had to keep doing that?
Yeah. So then I said last year around this time or February, I was like, I'm not going to talk about those movies anymore. That way I could think of other things to do instead. Like, I don't want to just be known for that forever.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started to make other miscellaneous content, such as going to Target and talking to strangers and like doing things to brighten their day. And then an offshoot of that was trying to make people smile and laugh. Then that led to me being like, oh, I like to do that. So then I was like, maybe I could do this on stage as well, because that's always been a desire anyways.
When you were doing those things in Target, et cetera, and you were putting a smile on people's faces, and your intention was that, and was it to do so through comedy?
Both. Sometimes it would be giving away money, or sometimes it would be comedy.
But don't you think that, I don't mean to be so leading, it's your podcast. Do you think that the money that you were giving away and the way you were giving it away and do give it away does have a comedic element to it as well, though?
Maybe some of them, and then some of them were more game show style. Like, you have 5 seconds to pick anything in this aisle.
Right.
Like, that'd be more like...
Entertainment.
Yeah.
Cedric.
Yeah.
He does it. I mean, the same thing. It's like sometimes, even with stand-up, I sometimes think, obviously we want to be funny, but I don't think that being funny is the number one.
Yeah, it's more just about the people in the audience want to have a good time. And so if you can do that through being funny or sharing some personal story, either one is okay, I guess.
You know, pardon me for zooming in a lot on this, but I have a different take on that. And I would actually love to have a conversation with you about that part of it, because I think that you and I, in different ways, go up on stage with intentions that aren't necessarily just about the jokes.
Well, I'm really new to it, so I don't really know exactly what my specialty is, but how long have you done it?
Since 2007.
Wow. Okay. Awesome.
But I wasn't noticing necessarily your specialty. I was just talking about your intention, and those things, I think, new or veteran and everywhere in between. I think it changes. I think people's intentions could change set to set, but on an average over a period of time, I think people go into these things with different intentions. Without even defining those, does that even make sense to you?
Yes.
And I'm curious about if you're in touch with what your intentions are, because it does seem like, from what you said, at least in part, it is to start with this new art form.
Well, I wrote down a thing sometimes I read before I don't know if I have it in the phone notes. It's on my laptop. Let's see.
Is this to give you confidence?
Yes.
I do this.
What?
I do this too.
It's something like the goal of stand-up is to do this. And then I just read that if I'm going to do something. Do I have it on here? I don't think so. Maybe I have. Let's see. Oh, okay. To connect with your audience through humor and by sharing relatable, clever observations, focus on, well, I mean, I got part of it from ChatGPT. So I just was like, what's the goal and stuff. And this is kind of what it gave me. I don't know if I changed any of it. Aim to be authentic, engage with the audience reactions, and enjoy your process. Your energy will set the tone for the entire experience.
Could you tell me out of that, keep it open for a sec, out of that, and you could take a moment to read it again to yourself.
Have fun. And then I wrote my own things.
That's what I want to hear. I want to hear, what is your version of that? What part of those are you like, yep.
I wrote slow down, because sometimes when I've done it and then I watch it, I go too fast. Mm-hmm. And then it's the ChatGPT stuff. So the goal is to connect with your audience. So that's a good reminder for me so that I know what the goal is. And then trying to make them laugh. Then create a strong rapport with the crowd, deliver it with confidence and being in the moment.
Mm-hmm. What does being in the moment mean to you?
I don't know.
Well, why do you say it to yourself?
That's just what ChatGPT wrote to me.
Pardon me for challenging you right now, but I'd love for you to think about it and think about, like, what does being in the moment mean to you? Because
on stage, it means to not rush.
So being in the moment is similar to slowing down.
Yeah.
I think of being in the moment and synonymously being present as not being in my head and just being here, and whatever is. So
do you talk a lot about stand-up on here? Like, is there a lot of the stand-up crowd?
I have episodes where I talk a lot about stand-up. I have episodes where I don't talk about stand-up at all.
Cool.
And then, if it's fair to say, sometimes in the middle.
Okay. Why'd you take your headphones off?
Well, I only put them on to check our levels.
Cool.
And when the guest is not wearing them, I typically don't.
Cool.
Yeah. Similar vibe. Kind of like when people are like when you have a coffee, which I don't even drink coffee anymore, or haven't for over a year. But like, it's nice to when somebody else is drinking a coffee too.
Okay. Let's take a look at Rick's favorite stand-up clip of his.
Oh, something just came into my mind that has nothing to do with this, but I want to tell you. I'm at a hotel today. I'm doing my thing. And then there's a 4% service charge. And I asked the manager, I said, I want you to know that I'm not here to complain. There's no subtext to this. I'm genuinely curious why I'm paying 4%. What is this for? And he said, you're paying for things for the employees, like their outfits. And I said, why am I paying for their outfits? And I'm really, I just don't get it. And he goes, yeah, man, I don't know. And I go, you're charging me. And a waiter was coming by, and I said, fantastic aprons. And he laughed, and I said to the guy walking by who didn't know the joke, I go, they're on me. And I felt like, you know what? That was a fun I grew, I think, I tried something, and I felt like I walked away from that feeling like, I'm the fucking man. You know? That's not necessarily my favorite stand-up clip, but I just started my first official tour, Ricky's on the Loose. If you want to come check out a show, you could go to, here are my dates. But that was just a clip from one of my recent shows.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Thanks.
So.
Scoot doo, blabbity blue, scoop dee. Oh yeah.